Hey, this is Dave with Wearing Media, and today in the outdoor kitchen, we're making a big old pile of homemade pulled pork nachos. Good afternoon, everybody. You ready for some nachos? We haven't been able to go to any bars or restaurants lately. I haven't been able to get together with all our friends, so I'm gonna make from scratch homemade pulled pork nachos. Move this cheese over, get that out of the way so the camera can see it. We got corn. These are corn tortillas. They were left in the fridge, or left in the cupboard. And I got some, just a regular old stalk of corn. Cut the end off here. Shuck it. You ain't an American if you can't shuck corn. It's easy. I'm gonna just shuck this first. I'm looking for a lot of crisp on the outside. And I'm gonna just throw them on the grill. A lot of people boil their corn first. People leave it in nature's wrapper, and then they'll throw it on the grill that way. I find it's harder to shuck after when it's hot. So we're just gonna throw it on the grill. I got indirect heat on this for a little while. We're gonna char it at the end. Clean off this knife. Alright, let's clean up the corn mess. A lot of corn today. Corn tortillas. Corn on top. It'll be good though. It'll be really good. Alright, move all this stuff out of the way. So I'd already turned on my heat on my oil. It's a max. Looking for that 350. I want to cut myself the other day. The only thing we had left was unicorn Band-Aid. I'm rolling with it. Love unicorns. Alright, so I'm gonna take these corn tortillas left over from the cupboard. I'm just gonna cut them into quarters. I'm gonna dip them in here. So these things are a little thick. When they fry up, they're gonna be real thick, nice and crunchy. Be good for the bottom layer of the nachos. Some people like their bottom layers to be soggy. I'm a big fan of pulling that bottom nacho and having it still be crunchy with all that mess, all that gooey, delicious bean and cheese mess on it. Yeah. Oh, hey, look, a love bug. Love bugs are back. It's April in Florida. You never experienced love bug season in Florida. It's not really all that different. You just gotta wash your car more. Alright, cut these up here. Quartering these, depending on the size. You know, just regular old chip size. And they're finished. I forgot, today's tasty beverage is a margarita. Got another video over at the bar. Showed you all how to make it. Easy, delicious. Nothing goes better with nachos than a margarita. I don't know if anybody ever wants, like, I'm not a lush. Just have one tasty beverage while I cook. You know, sometimes I may have more, depending on the day. It's Saturday and there's no other responsibilities. Go for it. 2 beers, alright. One tasty beverage while you cook. One tasty beverage while you cook is a good way to go. So I'm gonna lay down my butter on the grill over here. Actually, hold on. Before I start this roux, let me cut up this cheese and shred a little bit first. Got some quesadilla cheese from the store. Also going with some Monterey Jack. And finally we got some sharp white cheddar. I don't put as much of the cheddar in there, it's just it adds a little bit of edge. The Monterey Jack, the jalapeno we're gonna put in there, basically will end up being a little bit more like a pepper jack. So we're gonna shred this up. You could you stick these whole in there? Sure. It's easier to control your consistency when you shred up all this cheese first. go. Move on to the next one. Monterey Jack. And then this quesadilla cheese is a little bit more soft. You can melt this a little bit easier. You could just throw chunks in there, but you know, I'm gonna roll with some shredded first so that we can get our consistency right. Alright, stir up these chips. Go for like a nice toasted brown on these. These look good. Put these off to the side. Some of that oil drain off a little bit. Last one. Alright, there you go. Get a nice glimpse of it. Those will crisp up a little bit as they sit. Keep going with all these. I'm gonna make this whole pack that I had left. I think I only had maybe 10 tortillas left in there. So, nice little leftover creation for you. Just because you're at home, I mean, you gotta go to get the frozen. You got a little bit of time. This stuff's easy to make. If I can do it, you can do it. Alright, we're gonna salt, pepper. And then these chips, and I'm gonna add a little bit of paprika. Alright, just let those sit over there. You can stir those up. I'll stir them up at the end. Salt them when they're still hot, though. Lets it absorb some of that salt better. Onto the roux. Throw some butter in here. Like about 2 tablespoons of butter there. And then I have a 1/4 cup of flour here. I got these pans just sitting on the flat top. I don't think I'm going to use the whole 1/4 cup. Just let it stiffen up a little bit. I ended up making, oh, that's kind of burnt. That's a bad roux. We'll do a whole nother video on roux. Why you use them, when you use them. It's good enough though. It's not going to ruin our queso. Add in some of our milk here. There's a whole cup of milk. I'm going to add a half of that first. And we're going to add our cheese in to get the consistency right. Stir all that up. Let that heat a little bit. And throw in a bunch of our mixed cheese. Oh, some on the flat top. That's fine. Our pork will go over that later anyways. Little cheese crisps. Get the rest of these. Rest of this shredded cheese. There we go. So I mean, I'm handling this with my bare hands, but you know, if I was cooking for somebody else right now, I'd put a glove on. It's just me and my wife. She'll be okay. I guess anything I have, she has already anyways, right? Alright, throw a little more of this quesadilla cheese in here. Just give that a nice stir. I'm gonna cut up some of this jalapeno. So I'm gonna slice these nice ends first, and then at the end I'm gonna go diagonal and chop a lot of it up. These will go over the top of the nachos at the end. I'm being extra careful with these new knives. These new knives I got are like crazy sharp. They're real light too, so I'm not used to that. I need to get used to them. That's why, hence the uniform, or the unicorn band-aid. Alright. So we're gonna dice these up, but they're gonna be like real small. Throwing all this into the queso. If a cracked up seed gets in there, you know, whatever. These jalapenos aren't too spicy. If you ate a jalapeno by itself, the inside, you'd have a little more spice than maybe some would like, but depends on your level of heat that you like. We're just going with a little bit. Just make like a nice little faux pepper jack. Stir all this up here. That quesadilla cheese is melting down. Add a little bit more milk. Get the consistency that I like here. I think I'm pretty good on the cheese. I don't know if I'm gonna add too much more. Stir up these chips. I think I like cooking like this because I'm super ADD. So it's easy for me. It's easy for me to hop back and forth, do all these things. Let me get this. Is that? Wait. Am I propane? I think I'm out of propane. Oh well. This is definitely I'm out of propane. Whatever. We'll just slide our corn over here. Time to char it anyways. It's the kind of stuff you gotta deal with in the outdoor kitchen. Just gotta go with the flow. Alright, this cheese is looking good. I think. Close that there. Stir up these chips a little bit. And I think I might try and get a little taste of this cheese here. Throw some pulled pork down first. Let's get this pulled pork nice and heat. I got my my flat tops on a low heat right now. Just enough to make all these pans a little warm. Got this pulled pork. This is pulled pork we did. I'll do a pulled pork video. Smoked pulled pork in our offset smoker. Got a whole bunch more stuff to do. Stick with me. Stick with me. You'll get to learn a lot. I mean, when I make pulled pork, I freeze it. I can use it for little stuff like this. Stir up that cheese. Which one was the Monterey Jack? Nope, that's the cheddar. Yep, that's the Monterey Jack. I'm gonna add a little bit more Monterey Jack. It's a little liquidy. Just a little more thickness here. I think we'll be good. Oh yeah. Alright. Stir these chips up one more time. They're looking good. They're getting there. You oh yeah. These are really crunchy. Tastes good. Really thick. I'll try a little of this queso here. Oh yeah. That's the stuff. Little tasty beverage margarita. Wash it down. Alright, I'm gonna pull this. It's done. Doesn't need to be on the heat too much longer. If I leave it on the heat, the pan at the bottom will get all burned. You guys sit there and scrape it for hours on end. Ain't nobody wants that. Alright, look at that. Steam coming off the spoon there. I don't know if the cameras will pick it up, but this is looking good. So the queso's done. I'm gonna put this cheese aside. We're gonna save this for later. We'll do this again sometime. I think I might be a food pack rat. I think I try and save as much as I can so I can make all these cool little things. Put all this stuff down here. Alright. Stir up these chips one more time. These are probably done. They're looking pretty good. Yeah. Stir these up or pull these out. Salt them up and then get our last batch going. So if you want to skip ahead just a little bit, be my guest. Or if you want to hang out with me, talk about some tasty beverages, let's do it. Hope everybody's staying cool during this quarantine, staying healthy. Just gonna throw the last of these chips in here. Last of these flour tortillas. They're not quite chips yet. But look, some of them start to bubble up like that. Oh man, that's the good stuff when you get that bubble going. Stir some of these up. Again, these particular flour tortillas are a little bit thicker, so it's going to have a lot more crunch to the finished chip. Stir those up. Get that pulled pork going. And make some refried beans. That'll be delicious. Got our corn charring over here, cooking away. Look at that. That's what I'm talking about. It's going to be a delicious pile of layered nachos. I think what I'm doing here should probably feed about like 4 to 5 people. Some of that's sticking, but it's okay. You can get a little bit of char with this pulled pork. I like burnt ends. It'll add. It's like all this flavor and layers are going to be blended together. And when you get that bean dip in there, or the refried beans, salt these real quick. Salt, pepper, paprika. When you get that refried bean and cheese on top of the nachos, you won't even really be able to tell that there's burnt ends in there. So don't fret. Tasty beverage. Alright, so refried beans. I'm out of pork or beef fat, so I'm going the white guy route. Sorry to all my Hispanic friends looking for some true delicious refried beans. I'm doing the gringo version here. Just using a little bit of Crisco. So you need some fat down here. I'm gonna put about a little bit more than 1 tablespoon there. It's about 2 tablespoons. Add a little bit more. I think we got about 2.5 tablespoons of Crisco lard down here. We're gonna let that render down a little bit in the heat. Got the sun is setting on our day today, so some parts of that may be a little brighter than others. Don't worry, whenever my shadow moves over it, it should be good to go. So I'm just using some pinto beans here. I'm gonna drain a little bit of the water out of here. As everybody should know, oil and water don't necessarily mix together very well. You gotta be careful with these though. Here, watch, this is what happens when you put too much water into oil. Here you go. Shh. Just bubbles everywhere. I'm gonna drain a little bit of this water out, some of these juices out. You don't want to drain all of it though. The whole point of these, if you drain your beans completely, they'll get really dry. So I'm gonna add this all in here now. Stir these up. We're gonna let these just kind of simmer in the lard for a while. They should be a little soft already if you got them in a pan or if you got them in a can like this. You don't have to cook them too long. Clean up some of this corn mess. Alright, let's season this. Salt, pepper, paprika. I got a little bit of pulled pork in there, but you know what? That's okay. It's all going together anyways. Move my plastic spoon off the heat. Salt, pepper, paprika, garlic powder, cumin. It's my favorite go-to spices. Also know what materials you can put on what. Maybe I'll do another video on that, like when to use silicone. Add our cumin in. When to use silicone, when to use stainless, when to use regular metal spatulas versus when to use a wooden spoon. All that kind of good stuff. I don't know, if you'd like to see that, let me know. Stir up these nachos here. Sorry, our chips. Stir up our chips. We're gonna mix all this together. this cook down. I like that pan to be a little bit hotter. But we're good. See some of that bubbling up? Oh yeah, that's gonna be delicious. Alright, let me cut up some more jalapenos. I'm gonna just add a little bit of spice to this. You won't really notice it. I mean, the way we're gonna do it, mix it up, stir it. I'm gonna smash all these together anyways. If I threw in a ton of the seeds and the innards of the jalapeno, you'd feel it a little bit more. Get a nice little shot of my unicorn band-aid again. Alright. Save these whole pieces for the end nachos, for the people that like the jalapenos the most. I'm just gonna throw those in there. We're gonna stir all this up. So we're gonna take a potato masher. We're just gonna smash these guys in. Go a couple rounds. We're just looking for a nice, like, creamy consistency. Right now they're soft beans. We're gonna smash all these up. Got our pulled pork over there from our previous cook. Our corn going. Cheese is already done. Queso Blanco. White cheese. Hablo un poquito. Hablo bastante. Para un gringo. The German white guy. I think I speak enough Spanish. Let's stir this up. I'm not really happy with the consistency yet, so we're gonna stir it up one more time.
Hey buddy. Let me finish this and you can come out, okay?
That's my kid. He wants to come out and play. I told him, hang on, let me finish all this. Making him dinner. He'll enjoy it. Let me just stir it up. Alright, I'm happy with that consistency. These are all pretty smooth. Not too many whole beans left in there. You can go crazy as you want. I'm gonna keep these over here. We're almost done. Chips. This last little bit here. Alright. I'm gonna jump ahead to cutting my tomato. Moving this stuff out of the way, and we'll be good to go. Alright. Clean off my cutting board here. Check out my corn and my pork. Looking pretty good. Turn the heat down. When I was done with the dips, I turned the heat down over there. We just want to keep all that at a warm. We're just trying to keep it warm. So I'm just gonna dice up this tomato here. Some slices first, so it's a little bit easier to work with. Alright, and I'm gonna cut up every bit of this tomato that I can, except for that top portion. Some people don't like the bottom portion either. There's a little spot on the bottom. I don't mind that. I just don't. This top part doesn't really taste all that great. Throw that away. All right. Just looking for some cubes on these tomatoes. Easy enough. Nothing too fancy about this. Now, some people may want a little more heat. If you're into spicy stuff, you could have added maybe like some poblano peppers, some chilies. Or if you don't have any of that stuff, you can maybe go with a little sriracha. And I just added the jalapeno for some flavor. I'm not a huge fan of spicy stuff. I don't like. Some people really geek out on that. Or you could have hot sauce off to the side. You know, whatever's clever. Clean up these knives, clean up my knife. Pour all this over onto the pan where the nachos are now. And we're gonna clean off one more time and we're gonna start our build. These chips are probably done pretty soon. And you hear that sizzle. It's because it had a little water on the tongs from the tomatoes. Remember, hot oil and water are not usually your fan. They don't usually play along together very nicely. So if you got a bunch of hot oil, don't go putting water in there. Put my pork on. Right, these are gonna be good. We're almost done. Corn. So I'm gonna leave all that to the side for a minute, and I'm gonna just cut some of this corn off. You could eat the cob like this. I'm from the Midwest. Corn everywhere up there. In the Midwest, you could have boiled this for a little while, and then when it's done, you char it, put some butter over the top, salt. Man, stuff tastes good. Popcorn tastes good. Nothing better than popcorn and an awesome movie. Nice summer blockbuster. I don't care what it is, superhero movie, chick flick. Give me a bag of popcorn and I'm there. Alright, let's build this. Throw down our first layer of chips. These are the ones that are done the most. Like I said, they're gonna stay crispy down at the bottom of all this gooey, delicious mess. So we're gonna layer these here. Now get some of this good stuff. Throw some of this pork down. Oh man. This is gonna be good. Tomatoes. Throw that off to the side. We're gonna go with some of our cheese dip first. Give that a nice little stir. Take some of these beans. Throw these beans down over the top. These flies out of here. I'm gonna hurry up and build this. Take this inside. Can't have my food flies. Get out of here. It's the outdoor kitchen. Stuff like this happens. I'm not worried about it. It's no different from having a picnic. Got a little tear in my tinfoil there. Had to pull that piece of tinfoil out. Oh, there it is. You know, I think I might just use my hands for the rest of this. Don't want to rip this tinfoil anymore. And nobody likes pieces of tinfoil in their food. Bite into a piece of tinfoil. Ugh. Alright, that's done. Lay down the rest of the cheese and the dip. I'm gonna go dip first and then cheese on this time. Got my refried beans. Pour these all over the top. Yeah. It doesn't look like anything other than a mess, but this is gonna be delicious. Yes. Watch that cheese melt down over it. Get out of here, flies. It's supposed to be appetizing. An outdoor kitchen is supposed to be appetizing. Flies. Not supposed to be getting in the way of my thumbnails. Spread all this out here. Man, I can't wait to get into this. Alright, let's try it. That's what I'm talking about. Thanks for watching, everybody. Stay safe eating at home.